and thank you for joining us again at Voice of Rohingya Radio. We are a registered nonprofit coming to you from the state of Oregon in the United States of America. We'd like to remind you to take a moment and join our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's an easy way to show your support for the program, and it allows us to continue providing the latest news through our exclusive interviews, reports from inside the border, and reputable sources from around the world. Voice of Rohingya Radio is the only news source of its kind in the English-speaking world, bringing you the latest news in a convenient format and keeping you informed and involved. You can listen to our program every week, Sundays at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, by logging on to our Facebook or YouTube page, where we'll keep you up to date with our past and future programs. It is December 28th, 2014. For Voice of Rohingya Radio, I'm your host, Zach Taylor. In Myanmar, the newest set of Facebook stickers features a flower in an animated character's mouth. The 24 stickers carry a deeper message than the usual like, thumbs up Facebook icon, with users hoping to end hate speech with flower speech. The stickers are the latest attempt to combat the spread of dangerous speech online and are sponsored by Panzagar, a coalition of civil society activists. The group's name, which means flower speech, was organized as a response to the pervasiveness of anti-Muslim invective online and in public space. At the same time, and with less fanfare, Facebook is also rolling out a new process for users to report online abuse in Myanmar. Since November 21st, Facebook users in the country have new options available to report disturbing posts. The new process is aimed at more quickly addressing complaints and removing offensive posts in the Myanmar language. In the country, censorship remains a real threat. Until 2011, every publication in Myanmar was censored prior to publication. The government has relaxed censorship of print media, though restrictions on film and broadcast journalism remain. After the riots in Mandalay in July that authorities said left 2 dead and 14 injured, President Thein Sein stated, "Action will be taken against those who threaten state stability rather than using media freedom for good." These statements make Myanmar's pro-democracy activists very nervous. "Our slogan is to be careful, not to be silent," said Ne Phon Lot, a blogger and activist who has spearheaded the Panzagar campaign. "We just got freedom of expression, and we don't want to be silenced." Controversial extremist Buddhist monk and diffuser of incendiary propaganda on his organization's Facebook page, Uwarathu, as well as affiliated monk organization Ma Ba Tha, are active both online and off. Their materials include DVDs and street sermons mixing calls for a renewal of Buddhist practice with virulent portrayals of Muslims as a threat. Some of Panzagar's organizing techniques, including the use of Facebook stickers, are taken directly from the opponent's playbooks, which bridge online and offline activism. Downloading material from Panzagar's Facebook page, local youth groups in Kachin State and Mandalay printed their own t-shirts and pamphlets. The Youth and Social Harmony civil society group led a street campaign that reached 56 cities and towns. Panzagar's own Facebook page has garnered more than 14,000 likes. The coalition has held workshops and distributed notebooks in public schools. "I am a Buddhist and I am against the so-called Buddhist extremists," said Ne Phon Lot, the executive director for Myanmar's ICT development organization, which coordinates the campaign's online strategy. "We are doing this campaign not as Buddhists or Muslims, but as Myanmar citizens." Panzagar has received endorsements from Myanmar celebrities with 2 songs, We Are All Human and Flower Speech, set for release in the next month. In June, Panzagar received the Citizen of Burma Award, an annual honor bestowed by Burmese living abroad. Opposition has included a fake Panzagar Facebook page created by anti-Muslim groups. "This incident has demonstrated that online hate speech in Myanmar is systematically organized," said Matt Scheisler, an advisor to the civil society group Pang Ku. When Panzagar reported the page to Facebook, it was deleted and the likes were reassigned to the real Panzagar page. "It is peace-building against hatred," said Ko Thit Sar, a Muslim youth leader and volunteer with the Panzagar campaign, adding, "When the government and community allow this kind of speech and nobody is working against this speech and they never speak up against it, that is the way to discrimination." In other news, the United States will provide further support to both the Union Election Commission and civil society groups in an effort to ensure next year's election is transparent and credible, a senior U.S. Agency for International Development official said last week. However, observers have questioned the efficacy of funding and whether it can be distributed in a way that is fair to all stakeholders. USAID Mission Director Chris Milligan said last week that the funding aims to build the administrative capacity of the Election Commission, support the development of political parties, and encourage civil society participation in voter education and election monitoring activities. The UEC is not the only political institution to benefit from the USAID funding. The agency has also been providing support to Parliament to improve the functioning of the legislature and to political parties so they can better represent constituents. This training has at times been controversial, however. Last month, the UEC reportedly warned the International Republican Institute, a nonprofit funded by the U.S. State Department, USAID, the National Endowment for Democracy, the UN, and the European Union, that training it provided to the NLD could be in breach of election laws. The commission said the November 17th program in Piapon Township breached the rules because it was provided to only one party. The IRI has denied any wrongdoing. Political parties and observers said there were elements of the funding program that they were unsure of or uncomfortable with. U Sai Laik, a spokesperson for the Shan Nationalities League for Democracy, said his party had received no support and was unsure who was benefiting from the USAID-funded programs. If the U.S. wants to provide effective aids for elections, they need to hold transparent meetings with the UEC, parties, and civil society groups and provide assistance based on the results of those meetings, he said. Analyst U Yan Miao Thane said the funding had little impact at the grassroots level where it was needed. Mostly parties or civil society groups that are close to the UEC get this aid, he said. If USAID really wants to help ensure transparent and credible elections, they should help strengthen grassroots organizations. I mean at the village or the town or the village tract levels, because they can be watchdog groups that decide whether the elections are free and fair. Since resuming assistance to Myanmar in 2012, the U.S. has provided more than $276 million, including $57.7 million on building democratic institutions. Mr. Milligan hinted that additional future support could depend on the credibility of the election and the constitutional reform process, and that this credibility will be determined by the people of Myanmar. Myanmar President Thein Sein has recommended that Burma's temporary identity card holders, also known as white card holders, be allowed to vote in a proposed referendum on amendments to the 2008 military-drafted constitution. According to members of Parliament's Joint Bill Committee, Thein Sein sent the constitutional referendum bill back to Parliament, including a written remark that white card holders should be granted the right to vote due to the fact that they were allowed to do so during the referendum to approve the constitution in May of 2008. The President's input, sent to the Union Parliament's Joint Bill Committee last week, highlighted Article 11A under Chapter 5 of the referendum bill, a draft of which was published in the state newspapers on November 26. Article 11A of the bill reads, "All citizens, naturalized citizens, associate citizens, and temporary cardholders who are 18 years old have the right to vote on the referendum day, and these people must be included in the voters' lists." A Joint Bill Committee member and lower house lawmaker from the Arakan National Party told the Irrawaddy that the committee would submit its recommendation to the Union Parliament, which will reconvene in the third week of January. He also remarked that he thought political affairs are entirely the concern of citizens and not non-citizens. Parliament has the power to vote down the President's suggestion and its final approval. Thein Sein's comment marks a different approach to white card holders than he took on separate elections-related legislation in October, when the President shared the view of the Parliament on a change to the political parties registration law, signing off on an amendment barring white card holders from forming political parties. The vast majority of white card holders, estimated to number some 850,000 in total, are Rohingya Muslims in Arakan State, who the government classifies as Bengalis and largely denies citizenship. The cards were first issued in 1993 under the previous military junta. A majority of white card holders voted in favor of the 2008 Constitution and supported candidates from the ruling Union Solidarity and Development Party in 2010. Critics of the decision to allow white card holders to vote have accused the USDP of essentially buying votes through the card's issuance in a region where there is strong support for Arakanese parties among the majority ethnic Arakanese constituencies. You are listening to Voice of Rohingya Radio. Welcome back to Voice of Rohingya Radio. I'm your host, Zach Taylor. Police in the Indian town of Hyderabad are putting in place full-fledged surveillance and collecting information about Rohingya Muslim refugees who have been living in the city after fleeing Myanmar. The city police commissioner said that they have performed a census, collected their identification numbers, documented where they came from, and photographed refugees in some areas of the city. The police commissioner was replying to a question regarding the arrest of Khalid Muhammad, a Rohingya Muslim from Hyderabad, by the National Investigation Agency last month in connection with an explosion in Burdwan in October where several improvised explosives were found. Asked specifically if police were keeping a watch on their movements and the work they do in the city, he said, "Yes, we are keeping a watch." Hundreds of Rohingya Muslim refugees settled down in various parts of the old city around last July following communal violence in Myanmar. Early yesterday morning, Myanmar's border guard police raided Rohingya houses in Butedong township of Arakan state and arrested 18 innocent Rohingyas, according to locals. Around 1:30 a.m., a number of Myanmar's border guard police, led by a deputy commander based in Maungda township, raided Rohingya houses in Mi Gyang Zae village tract and Chen Thamar village tract. 14 Rohingyas from Mi Gyang Zae and 4 from Chen Thamar were arrested without reason. The 14 individuals were taken to a BGP station in Maungda, and the remaining 4 were taken to a BGP station in Butidong Township. The European Rohingya Council issued an official invitation letter for an event to be held at its annual conference in February in Norway. The main objective of the event will be to form the ERC under a free and fair policy with the help of Rohingya intellectuals from European regions and around the world, and to find a long-lasting solution for the dire situation plaguing the Rohingya community both at home and abroad. Media and Information Secretariat of the ERC, Mohammed Ibrahim, told the Burma Times that the main focus of the conference will be to elect the council and its secretariats, to delineate all past activities of the ERC, and to draw up a vital roadmap so a precise solution can be implemented to relieve the deeply worsening plight the Rohingya are facing. The invitation letter also encouraged every individual of the Rohingya community across the globe to join ERC to empower the organization. In other news, some 500 people in Myanmar have protested against the Latpe Dong copper mine in which China has a stake, demanding its quick closure, police have confirmed. The protesters, including dozens of Buddhist monks, shouted slogans near the Chinese consulate in the central city of Mandalay on Saturday. The protest was held 6 days after a woman demonstrating against the controversial mine was shot dead. Last Monday, December 22nd, police shot protesters demanding the mine company to stop building a fence in territory controversial for local farmers. Meanwhile, 50-year-old Ken Win was fatally shot. The mine, which is run by Chinese firm Wanbao as part of a joint venture with a major local military conglomerate, has been a flashpoint causing strong opposition and complaints from local villagers due to environmental damage and land seizure. In November of 2012, police attacked the protesters using phosphorus, which caused burns in many people, including monks. The event ignited fury in the Buddhist-majority country. In July 2012, an attempt to alleviate the problem of land disputes and battles for nation's rich mineral sources, Myanmar said it would give the nation a share of the profits and revise the terms of the mine deal with Wanbao. A 72-year-old Rohingya man was shot by a Myanmar military soldier in Pa Dien village in Maungda township of Arakan state last Sunday. 3 military men from a battalion based in Maungda township and 7 police from Myanmar border guard police based in Ma Gye Chow township entered Pa Dien village around 2 p.m. The 3 military men were sitting at a shop located north of Pa Dien village administration office, while at the same time the 7 police were roaming around the village. A military man suddenly opened fire on a 72-year-old Rohingya man while he was passing by the shop. According to the reports, the Rohingya man was not breaking any laws or provoking the soldier. Locals say the man was shot without reason. The bullet hit the leg of the man and it passed through, nearly hitting a 5-year-old child, who was fortunately uninjured. The military men took the injured Rohingya with their car, but as of this report, his whereabouts are unknown. Thanks again for listening to Voice of Rohingya Radio, a weekly news program bringing you up-to-date information about the Rohingya people in Myanmar. You can catch our broadcasts every Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific Time here in the United States at youtube.com/VOR Radio, or you can join our page on Facebook to find more information on the program. For Voice of Rohingya Radio, this is Zach Taylor, signing out.